Picture a quiet evening. He's calm. He smiles, relaxes. Then something shifts. A remark, a tone, small things. You feel your words sliding beneath the surface, stirring something. Without warning, that calm man tightens, eyes darken, jaw sets. The room charges. How did we get here? There's a hidden science behind this phenomenon. When a woman, knowingly or not, sharpens her tone, invalidates feelings, or dismisses concerns, she may unknowingly be triggering emotional steam building in a man over time. Consistent invalidation, even subtle, can teach someone that speaking up leads only to friction, so they begin to match the interaction in conflict instead of calm. Research into communication patterns shows that men often respond with outward anger when they feel disrespected or unheard. That anger reflects not violence, but a pressured, simmering frustration breaking free. Men's aggression is culturally more accepted or conditioned, while women are subtly guided toward suppression. Over time, that mismatch can become combustible. Imagine someone making jokes mid-argument or smiling when upset. Well-meaning, maybe self-protective. But to a partner already holding in hours of frustration, it may come off as mocking or dismissive. That response can ignite a calm temperament into a charged one. Women's expressions of anger also tend to be more indirect: withdrawal, sarcasm, emotional distancing, rather than raw verbal escalation. So the pattern becomes under-the-surface tension, followed by explosive release. Temperament plays a role. Women on average report stronger emotional intensity and expressiveness, but often socialized to bottle up direct anger. Men, socialized to show achievement through stoicism or dominance, may have less training at naming or regulating internal frustration. Once that pressure hits a threshold, their reaction can feel volcanic, even if the emotional roots started around small, everyday slights. Here's another layer: emotional blackmail and provocation dynamics. Using guilt, obligation, or emotional pressure, often unconsciously, in a relationship, can produce reactive anger. One partner pushes, pressures, or invalidates, the other snaps back. That smash then reset pattern becomes familiar, even expected, and also painful. Over time, a calm man may learn that softer approaches don't work. His concerns get minimized, shrugged off, or mocked. So he begins matching volume and force. It's not planned anger, it's a defensive calibration. The calm persona transforms quickly when he feels cornered, humiliated, dismissed, or repeatedly invalidated. Every individual has limits: sleep disruptions, mounting stress, rumination on slights. These reduce regulation capacity. A man who normally consoles and breathes through tension may eventually snap under repeated subtle provocations. So what turns calm into furious? Patterns, invalidating words, emotional distancing, ridicule disguised as humor, a smile when anger is rising, guilt-inflicted manipulation, a loop of subtle disconnection leading to abrupt emotional flood. And let's not forget biology and social norms. Testosterone ramps up impulsivity. Emotional suppression by culture shapes how men respond physically. Women may carry trauma, ancestry-born hurt, or silenced anger, expressed in ways that feel non-confrontational but still intense. The evolutionary tend and befriend stress response, common in women, may contrast with adversarial responses in men when stress crosses thresholds. But none of this paints women as aggressors or men as volatile. It simply underscores how energy builds when communication fractures. A partner dismissing emotional pain or joking it away when seriousness is due builds resentment. When persistent, the calm exterior cracks. Picture the subtle daily triggers: ignoring how he expresses concern about work or safety, joking about his feelings, using sarcasm to deflect deeper issues. At first, nothing. Then, tension mounts. Soon, a small misstep becomes the spark. A tone too sharp, a look too long, a remark too cutting. He erupts, and it shocks him too. In the aftermath, both may feel regret. She wonders how it spiraled. He wonders why kindness eroded. Underneath, a cycle of unmet emotional needs, and unexpressed resentment. If you pause before words escalate, if you honor what's being said, not just reacting, this spiral can change course. Emotional intelligence, learned silence, empathic listening. They shift the dynamic away from provocation toward connection. In real life, you might not recognize the triggers at first. It's only retrospectively that you see the pattern. Dismissive laughter, following his vulnerability. The slight roll of eyes at a sensitive topic. The invalidation of frustration. Subtle, repeated, until calm cracks. In a healthy dynamic, partners do not dismiss each other. They validate, pause, empathize. They speak when hurt before resentment amplifies. They don't weaponize love or rely on guilt to control behavior. They build trust, not tension. The transformation from calm to furious is less about anger itself and more about erosion. Erosion of emotional safety, communication, respect. It's small things day after day, framing what speech is safe, who can express hurt, and what reactions are expected. So next time a calm person seems to snap, consider the lead-up. Was their voice not heard? Feeling dismissed? Repeated invalidation? Emotional withholding? These plant the seeds. At some point, pressure becomes release. That's why communication matters so deeply. A gentle question, reflected back emotion, acknowledging stress, before it becomes ripe, can prevent that shift. It isn't a fix-all, but it honors how humans need to feel seen. He used to smile. She once laughed it off. But then something changed in the smile. The words became weighty. And one day, he blew. But even in the moments when anger erupts, something else is often waiting underneath. Not just rage, but a story. A man doesn't go from calm to furious without a quiet history trailing him. There's usually a string of silent moments where he felt misunderstood or like he didn't matter. The explosion might look sudden to the outside, but inside, it's usually been a slow burn. When we talk about how women can trigger that shift, we're not pointing fingers. We're looking at something real, something layered. Relationships aren't simple cause and effect. They're like conversations that stretch across months, even years. And sometimes, the words we said or didn't say echo back louder than we meant. People don't just snap. They absorb. They compromise. They swallow words and walk away from arguments. They turn the other cheek, give the benefit of the doubt, try to stay peaceful. But everyone has a line. And the truth is, most calm people are not endlessly calm. They just hold it in longer. They protect peace until they can't anymore. That doesn't make the anger okay. It doesn't excuse damage or shouting or cruelty. But it does help us understand it. Because if you understand why something breaks, maybe you can stop it from breaking next time. The hardest part in these dynamics is often the silence before the storm. That's where things get missed. A woman may think he's fine. He's quiet, after all. He doesn't complain, doesn't start fights, seems laid back. But underneath, he may be cataloging dismissals. That joke she made about him being sensitive. That time she talked over him when he tried to explain himself. The night she rolled her eyes when he shared his stress. One or two moments don't change much, but patterns do. We rarely see the pattern while we're in it. Life moves fast. People are tired. They say things they don't mean, forget to apologize, avoid hard talks. But emotions don't delete themselves. They collect. And once they overflow, the calmest person becomes someone unfamiliar, even to themselves. For women who've never seen that side before, it can feel like betrayal, like this gentle person suddenly flipped. But in most cases, that fury isn't new. It's been muffled, waiting, hoping to never come out. That's why it hits so hard. It's not just what he says or does in that moment. It's the shock of realizing how deep the silence really went. The truth is, nobody wants to live in anger. Nobody wants to hurt the person they care about. Most of the time, both people in this dynamic just want to be understood, to be heard, not dismissed, to be valued without having to fight for it. And that desire, that's not masculine or feminine, that's human. So maybe the real work isn't about avoiding anger. It's about learning to hear each other before anger has to do the talking. To notice when someone is getting quieter, not just louder. To ask what they're feeling before assuming they're fine. To catch the tension early, before it becomes a fire. Because fury doesn't come out of nowhere. It walks in slowly, with heavy steps. It starts in forgotten conversations, missed empathy, small rejections. It begins with someone feeling like their voice doesn't count, and it ends with that voice finally forcing itself to be heard, but it doesn't have to end there. Relationships that have seen fury can still find peace. It takes reflection, real listening, and honest accountability from both sides. The goal isn't to point out who triggered whom, but to notice the patterns that keep repeating, to break the cycles before they break the bond. That calm man, he's still there. He always was. He just needed room to speak without shouting, to be heard without exploding. And if that space can be made, if both people can meet in truth, not ego, then even the deepest fury can turn back into something gentle, something whole, something worth rebuilding.